Thank you for joining us on our latest edition of 15 Minutes With. I'm your host, Sam Dostler. This time we're joined by the 2021 LPGA National Teacher of the Year, Marissa Kulig Crow. Marissa is an LPGA Classic professional, currently just finishing up her 9th year at Lyman Orchards Golf Course. Marissa, thanks for taking a few minutes to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start at the beginning, Marissa, before we talk about your success at Lyman Orchards and your playing career. How did you get introduced to golf? What was the start for you?
My father and my grandfather were avid golfers, scratch golfers who competed a lot when I was growing up. So I basically grew up probably a toddler running around the golf course. But about the age of 8 is when I took an interest. And I approached my dad and said, I want to learn. And he was floored because girls didn't really play and he wasn't going to, he didn't approach me. So it was, I just liked what I saw and I loved being on the golf course. So yeah, that's how it started.
And you had success early in your career, even as an amateur, getting a chance to play in the 1998 LPGA's Friendlies Classic when I was at Crestview Country Club in Agawam, Massachusetts. What led you to being able to play in that event?
So I was very lucky. I didn't have to qualify. The field was short, so many spots. So I basically filled out an application. The only requirement was that you had to be a 2 handicap. And I had my golf pro that at the time, Tom DeRico, I worked at Chicopee Country Club. He signed off on it, and they allowed me to play.
What was that experience like for you?
Oh, my gosh. I was, like 19 years old, playing in an LPGA event. That's insane. Probably a dream when I was a kid. I wanted to play on tour. But it was nerve-wracking. It was a great experience. I was just taking it all in. I wasn't even thinking about my game, honestly. It was just, I was around all these legends, Betsy King, Helen Alfredson, Michelle McGann, all these greats, and like walking by me in the locker room, and I was just like in awe. I was awestruck, but it was great. It was a great experience. I was super nervous, but I just rack it up as experience.
So you earned your degree from a degree from Springfield Technical Community College, where you played on the boys team. You went to the NJCAA Nationals. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, so long ago, Sam.
We're turning the pages back a little bit here.
Just kidding. So I played high school golf for Cathedral in Springfield, Mass. So I played on the boys team. I tried out, and then I stayed local and attended Stick and tried out for the men's team. They didn't have a women's team. And yeah, we were good. We qualified. We won the regionals at Chicopee Country Club, which happened to be my home course. We had a fairly decent team. And then we were able to travel down to North Carolina. Very funny because it was so long ago. The highlight of that trip was traveling down in a van with 8 other guys. My mom would not let me go alone, so she traveled down with me, and we played this beautiful course, Wood Lake Country Club in Bass, North Carolina, and it was again a great experience just to play. A beautiful golf course, played amongst some great golfers. But yeah, it was awesome.
What courses did you grow up playing in the Western Mass area?
So I first started playing at this little 9-hole course in Chicopee, Mass called Oxford Country Club. It's not there anymore. That was like where my grandfather grew up playing, where my father grew up playing. And then once that course closed down, I moved to Chicopee Country Club. I played there, and then that's pretty much it. I played a lot of other courses, but those were my home courses.
Following the completion of your career at Stick, you moved on to Bryant College, continued your career there. What was that transition like, moving from stick to Bryant and then playing on a women's team for what it sounds like the first time in your competitive golfing career?
Right. It was different. I mean, because I didn't play with girls much at all as a junior golfer. So it was actually more fun. So I felt like, it was just really, it was a grind for me to try and keep up with the guys. But when I went to Bryant, I did happen to be one of the better players. I was fortunate to captain the team. But it was a club team, but we still were able to compete against all the Ivy League schools and play in some competition. But it was definitely, it was more fun. It was, being around other girls, and it was a different atmosphere for sure.
How do you think your early competitive days, playing at Stick, playing at Cathedral, then playing at Bryant, how do you think that helped formulate your career to where it is now?
I've had always a love for this game, and I'm super competitive. For any of my friends and family that know, it's kind of an understatement. But I think just my love of the game, I wanted to stick around it and make it my career. And I think that's really made me successful, meaning like my passion. My students feed off my passion. I think that's what's helped me throughout my career.
We're talking with Marissa Kulig Crow, the 2021 LPGA National Teacher of the Year, just finished her 9th season at Lyman Orchards Golf Course. So throughout your career, you've done a little bit of everything in golf. Of course, you've played, worked as a greenskeeper, head golf pro, general manager. You've been a member of the LPGA Teaching and Club Professional Division since 2001. For you, has there always been a desire to work in golf in some capacity? When did you figure out that you wanted to go the teaching route?
So after college, I got a degree in business management. I did fall into an office called Now Plastics, and I was just doing administrative work. I was in the logistics department, and I did that full time for maybe a year or two, not even 2 years. And I missed being at the golf course. And since I was a junior in high school, I worked in the golf shop every summer. So then I was like, you know what, I asked my boss at the time, could I do part-time on the summers at the golf course? And he was fine with that. So I kept my hand working at the golf course, but then, I don't know, what was it? I think I was just around a couple of different golf pros that were really good teachers at Wilbraham Country Club, Daryl Pastanella and Anne-Marie Hamilton. And I think that's when I was like, you know what, I miss golf. I want to have a career in it. And I wasn't sure at the time which path. Was it going to be management or was it going to be teaching? At that point, I just wanted to have a career in golf. So that was the starting point.
Let's fast forward a little bit. You ended up at Lyman Orchards. How did that position come about, and what is it that you like about the culture at Lyman Orchards?
So you mentioned I've done it all. So eventually, probably just before I landed this job at Lyman Orchards, becoming a head pro, general manager, it was more administrative work. I taught less and less. And when I did teach, especially women's group classes, that's when I felt alive, and I felt like it was just so much fun, and I had a high. And so that's when I was like, you know what, I think I want to just stick with teaching. And 10 years ago, this job popped up down at Lyman, and granted, it's an hour 10, hour 15 from where I am. I went down and interviewed in February of 2013, and then I've been there ever since. And it was cool because the facility, I'm sure you're familiar with Lyman Orchards. They have 2 18-hole championship courses, and the facility that I'm at was just built the year prior to my interview. So practice facility with a par 3 course, and they were looking for instructors. So I was pretty much in there when they were just starting it up.
Right place, right time, as they say.
Yes, definitely.
You run the most successful women's golf program in the Northeast, one of the most successful in the country. Over 1,000 players participate, which is really, when you think about it, a staggering number for the amount of players participating. And that was just this year. What makes the program at Lyman stand out amongst the rest? What makes it so popular?
Number one, I think it's the facility. My whole golfing career, I've been here in Western Mass, and I just feel like when I went down to Connecticut, there's nothing like that up here. That facility is something you would find down south. It lends itself to learning, and I think that's why I was successful, because I was able to just keep growing and growing and growing and keep offering different levels of progression. So the facility is number one. Number two, I have fun. We have a great staff of instructors. It took a few years to pare it down to have the right group of individuals gel, but we have a lot of fun, and of course that carries out. I mean, we keep the instruction simple, we have fun, we make the women feel comfortable, and I think we have a family atmosphere, and that's what draws in these women.
For sure, yeah, it's a fantastic facility, and anyone who hasn't been there, who's listening to this, it's certainly one worth checking out. At the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned how, and it's certainly changed, I think, as the years continue to go by, where when you started playing golf, your dad was surprised that that you wanted to do so. And sometimes, and even in my personal life, I love golf, I play, I work in golf, but it's hard to get my wife to go out there and play golf or even try. How would you, if someone was on the fence, how would you try to convince them to get involved, to take that next step, to really discover what so many people have found is so great about the game of golf?
It's a lifelong sport. I mean, I think it's with all the women that I've come across over the years, it's kind of sad when I hear the story of, this is my last chance, because they had a bad experience the first time around. So it's like being able to find that right facility or program. And I think it does help that I'm a female. There's not many female professionals around. And I think that, they want to learn from a woman, and they feel more comfortable. They don't want to be embarrassed or intimidated. But I just give it one try, and I say, come to Lyman.
We're chatting with Marissa Kulig Crow, the 2021 LPGA National Teacher of the Year. Just finished up her 9th year at Lyman Orchards. For someone listening who maybe hasn't attended one of your programs or the various offerings that there are at Lyman, what should people expect when they show up? What should they be looking for? How's the program structured?
We have a level class for every skill level. I mean, for every ability. So the way I've structured it, and I still keep improving and tweaking the program as years go on. But the basic outline is it's called Golf for Women 101, and it goes through to 501. So 101 is for the person that has no experience, never has held a golf club. Really basic introduction to every fundamental. And then ending that class, we do take them out on the course and give them a little basic etiquette and rules. And then 201, you're building off of what you learned in 101. We use video analysis. And then 301 through 501, it's all on-course instruction. And I think we're very fortunate that we have all this property that 301 is like for the women, for the person that has never been on the golf course. So it's just every week we're on the golf course, and the classes get smaller, they get more personal instruction. And then again with 401, 501, then we start migrating them to the 18-hole championship courses. So it's there, great slight progression. And then we even have women's leagues. So there's something for everyone, not just women. We have, junior programs and men's programs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's always, whenever I go by Lyman or play, there's always something going on there. So there's plenty of opportunities for everyone. Um,
Right.
in recent years, you've started to rack up the awards. You won the 2019 and 2021 LPGA Northeast Section Teacher of the Year, and then this year, as we've mentioned a couple times, LPGA National Teacher of the Year. You know, no one gets into any line of work for the awards. You go into a line of work hoping to do well and be successful, but what does it mean to you to be recognized, to earn those awards, to stand out from your colleagues?
I'm very humbled. Like, as you said, I don't do this for the award. I'm just so lucky that I get to do what I love every day, share my passion, growing the game of golf. That's my job. And, these women keep coming back. And I mean, the numbers, like you said, are staggering. I'm just so honored that I'm being recognized. And that it's the real reward is the women that keep coming back and seeing their reaction.
For sure. Yeah. Anytime you can get someone to come back to the golf course, that's a good thing. All right, so we've spent the last 15 minutes or so talking about golf. I'm going to get you out on a non-golf question. Golf season, although the weather's been pretty good, it's wrapping up here in Connecticut. We're recording this early November. What do you do to unwind during the off season before you start ramping up for the 2022 year?
So it's funny you asked that because my husband, my almost 6-year-old son, and I are going to Disney.
Oh, beautiful.
Tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm going to Disney World.
Well, that's a good thing to do.
But I mean, besides that, I am probably more busy. I feel more busy. I am teaching 5 days a week virtually, cardio golf. I just finished a class before I jumped on with you, so I'm a little flushed. I got my cardio slope behind me. But cardio golf and then yoga for golfers. So I'm teaching 5 days a week. Just great off-season programs to keep my students engaged and getting them in golf shape. I'm preparing for next season, tweaking the program, and what else? I think that's about it. Oh, I have a new website, so so I'm uploading information on there, and yeah, I'm pretty busy.
Well, you mentioned the website. You might as well plug it now. What's the website? How can people find it?
It's a work in progress, but it is up and running. It's marissasgolfmovement.com.
Great. Any social medias where people can find you, or just the website?
Marissa's Golf Movement on Instagram, Twitter, and then Facebook. I do have a private group that's got 1,400 members. Everything golf related. It's called Marissa's Golf for All. FORE.
Beautiful. Well, I guess not much unwinding this off season, but that's all right. It's the golf. People think the golf season ends in the Northeast, but it really doesn't. It's always moving forward.
Right.
Well, Marissa, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to join us on 15 Minutes With. Congratulations on all your success and continued success once you return from Disney World.
Thank you, Sam, so much. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. That's been Marissa Kulig Crow, the 2021 LPGA National Teacher of the Year, just wrapping up her 9th season at Lyman Orchards Golf Course. I want to thank everyone for listening to the latest edition of 15 Minutes With. I've been your host, Sam Dostler.